Friends, my name is Karthik. Today we would be seeing on how to configure HiveServer2 HA, and we will see how the load balancing works when you have the HiveServer2 HA setup. Right. So what steps we would be performing today is as this is an HA setup, so we will be having a multiple HiveServer2. So we will go ahead and add another HiveServer2 instance to my existing cluster, and then we will have to enable the discovery mode. So we will just go to Ambari Hive configs, and we will see this particular parameter is set to true, that is it is checked. So by default, this particular parameter would actually be marked yes. So I don't think you will need to go ahead and enable it again. So once we do that, we would be using the Zookeeper JDBC string. We will just copy the Zookeeper JDBC string from Ambari to connect to HiveServer2 from Beeline. So ideally, we usually use the default port number, which is the 10,000, and the HiveServer2 host name when we try to connect to HiveServer2 from Beeline. So we will have a look into that as well. And to verify, we will just first check what are the entries for the HiveServer2 namespace in the Zookeeper command line interface, which is the ZKCLI. So we will first see before adding the HiveServer2, we'll just have a look of what the entry is there, and then we will just do a net start at the end just to check if the load balancing has been happening properly or not. So let's just have a look into it in a practical approach now. So this is my cluster. So as you can see, currently I only have one HiveServer2 instance. So let's quickly go ahead and add another one. So just to show you, so this is currently on my second node. Since my cluster is Kerberized, I'm just giving it the admin principal. So I'm using the third node. So meanwhile, it installs the HiveServer2 instance on the third node. We will just quickly check what entry do we have in our ZKCLI. So this is the command which I'm using. So I'm just going to the path where I have the zkcli.sh located, and after that I'm just passing the Zookeeper server host name along with the port number, which is 2181. So let's go in. So if you see, these are the namespaces which I have under the Zookeeper server. So we will just have a look what inside we have under the HiveServer2. So as you can see, currently I haven't yet enabled the HA, right? So I have just added another HiveServer2 instance which is not yet completely started. So this is the existing HiveServer2 instance details. So it tells me in which node the HiveServer2 is located and in what port it is running and what version it's been installed, right? So currently there is only one entry. So let's go back to Ambari and see what's happening over there. So now the second HiveServer2 has been installed. It is ready to be started. So you can see it's currently in the node 3. So let's go ahead and start it. Meanwhile it starts, we'll just quickly go ahead and check if the parameter which we need is set to true or not. So I'm just going to Hive. From there I just went to configs. Let's just search for discovery. So you can see this particular parameter, it is currently marked. I mean, you can see it is as it is checked yes. So this is the parameter which is important for the HA and the load balancing to work. And you can also see the namespace which is defined for Zookeeper. So if you remember, we just went into the ZK CLI, we logged into the ZK CLI and we did a ls on /HiveServer2, which had the entries for the Z node, which had the information on which node currently has the HiveServer2 set, right? So the service has restarted. Just go to Hive. So you can see I currently have 2 HiveServer2 instances. So let's quickly check if the Z node entry has been updated. So I'm just doing an ls again. So now if you see, I currently have like 2 entries over here. So the first one is for the HiveServer2, which is located under the node Karthik test 2, which we had it before, and the new one which is currently added, you can see it below. Here it says where it's been added. So it's been added under the Karthik test 3. So since there are like 2 HiveServer2, there are like 2 entries what I see over here. So with multiple HiveServer2s, you will have all the entries in this particular namespace, right? So how the connection would work now is, let's say you evoke a VLAN section. You go to the VLAN, you give the Zookeeper JDBC string, and with the help of the Zookeeper would have the information on which node my HiveServer2 is set up. Accordingly, it will do a round robin fashion. It will randomly select a HiveServer2 instance, a HiveServer2 node, and it will pass the execution to that particular node. So that's how it happens. So let's see that as well now. So I have my namespace and all set up, and I also have the discovery mode which is being turned on. So I would just copy this particular JDBC URL. So this is the Zookeeper URL. If you see the port number here, it's 2181. Ideally, you would be giving only this much with the port number as 10,000 if it is a non-corporized cluster, the default port number. But this time we will be just copying the Zookeeper. Let's see. So I'm just doing a net start before that, just to show you there is no existing connection established. So my HiveServer2 is running in this particular port. So currently you can only see it's listening. There is nothing being evoked or no established connections. So let's see now. Let's evoke VLAN. So use exclamation connect. Just paste the okay. So I'm just copying the Zookeeper string from the body. Paste it. Just pass the username and the password. So seems like I have connected. So let's just test it out. Okay, it seems like an permission denied exception. Let me just try with another user. So I have the principal for the user Roger. So this guy should have the access. Let's see. Okay, so the show databases is working, so we are successfully connected. So let's see to which HiveServer2 it is connected now. So this VLAN section, if you see, I evoked it from the Karthik test 2 node. I have just another duplicate session. Let's do the net start again. So if you see here, I have an established connection on the 10,001 port established, and so this is the source and this is the destination. So this particular IP address belongs to the default HiveServer2 instance which I had before, right? So now we will try to evoke another VLAN session. We will just see does that particular VLAN session goes to the same HiveServer2 or does it goes to another one. So I'm just logging to the VLAN from another node. Let's see. So I do have the principal over here. Just change the user. So and another duplicate session for the node 3. Just doing a net start. So currently there is no connection, no established connection for the node 3, right? So let's go to this node 3. I'm just evoking the VLAN from this. Just copying the zookeeper string again. So if we see the show databases has been worked, so that means the zookeeper string did work for this particular session. So now to check to which node or to which HiveServer2 instance this particular session has been connected, we'll just go to the duplicate session from which we evoked the the VLAN session, which is the node 3. So let's just do a net start again. So when you do a net start for the same port number in which the HiveServer2 is running, now if you see this has went to the 206 IP, which is the new HiveServer instance which we added before from Ambari, right? So from node 3, when I evoked the VLAN session, it went to 206, and the same when we checked from the HiveServer instance, the VLAN instance for the node 2, it went to the 205, that is the default HiveServer2 instance which I had in place, right? So here you can see two different VLAN sessions which we evoked from two different nodes went to two different HiveServer2 instance. So this is something which the zookeeper chooses from its end. It's like a round robin. The request is random. Whichever HiveServer2 instance is idle, or if it has like less load, the VLAN session would be passed over to that particular HiveServer2 instance. So that's how it works. So what would happen if one of the HiveServer2 goes down in this particular case, right? So both the sessions are currently active. If you see, even here it is active from the node 2, and even from the node 3 it is active. Both of them are working, and both of them are connected to two different HiveServer2 instances. So if I bring down any one of them, the VLAN session wouldn't go to the other active or the one which is up and running HiveServer instance, right? So let's say if I am executing a query from this particular VLAN session, and in between of the query execution, the HiveServer instance goes down. So you will have to just re-evoke the VLAN session. The queries wouldn't work in that particular session again, so you will have to just terminate that session, and then you will have to evoke another VLAN session which would go and connect to the active HiveServer2 instance. So that's how it happens. So if you see here, I was just talking about the automatic failover. It says if an HiveServer2 instance failed while a client is connected, the session is basically lost. Since the situation needs to be handled at the client, there is no automatic failover. The client needs to reconnect using the same zookeeper string. So if one server goes down, to get the execution to the different HiveServer2, you will have to just re-evoke the VLAN session. That's how it happens. And for the load balancing, we just had a word about it. So the request would be a random. The zookeeper would randomly pass the VLAN request to the available HiveServer2 instances. So that's how it is. So that is it, guys. So if you want more information, you could also visit our community forum, where you could just post any questions for which you need answers, or you could also explore the existing discussions going on for different issues or for different components. So that is all, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Thank you. Bye-bye.